Thank you, DA Rollins. Thanks for the introduction. So yeah, I lead the Child Protection Unit at the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. We call it the CPU, and it's a specialized unit that focuses on the investigation and prosecution of both physical and sexual assault crimes on children. And the way we work is we typically get referrals from the Department of Children and Families and from police departments. And as soon as we get a new case, a new referral, our first step in investigating a child abuse crime is to bring the child in for a forensic interview. So what's a forensic interview? A forensic interview is a one-on-one interview led by a forensic interviewer who is a person trained to ask sensitive yet not suggestive and non-leading questions of a child to get the greatest information, the most reliable information possible from a child. It happens in a room like the one you see on your screen. It's in a room with a one-way mirror. So the child feels like, they know that there are other people watching, but the child feels like he or she is talking to one person. And the rest of the team is sitting in the dark on the other side of the one-way mirror, me, a detective, maybe someone from the Department of Children and Families, and we're watching. And we may be feeding in questions to the forensic interviewer who's wearing an earpiece. And that's how the forensic interview works. And we get straight out of the child's mouth, we find out what crime occurred and the details about that crime. So if we can go to the next slide, I can tell you the impact of COVID-19. And it's been challenging for the child abuse world. Over the past 6 months, child abuse referrals to the CPU, to my unit, have gone down dramatically. In April and May of this year, we had referrals down approximately 50%, 50, which does not mean that child abuse crimes have decreased. I think we all know that most child abuse crimes occur inside the home. They're committed by someone in the family or someone who has access within the home. So with child abuse, we only know about those crimes that children tell us about. And they typically tell by making disclosures at school or at summer camp. They go outside of their home and they talk to a trusted adult who might be a teacher or a camp counselor or someone like that. So if a crime is being committed on a child within their home, it's really, really hard for that child to disclose and to get the help that they need and to reach out to our unit to have us start investigating and bringing to a close the abuse that's occurring on them. Over the past 6 months, we have had children find a way to disclose. I don't know if we're on a new slide, but these kids have talked to therapists and telehealth sessions. They may have talked to a family member who has brought it to the attention of the police or to the hospital. So it has happened. It's decreased, but it's happened. And despite the quarantine that we were in at the outset, and despite the social distancing that we're still experiencing, the CPU at the Suffolk County DA's office has been continuing to investigate child abuse crimes that we know about. And we've done it. We're the first county to do it. We've set up what's called teleforensic interviews. So that interview that I described to you at the beginning of my presentation, where a child is one-on-one in a room with a forensic interviewer, those are happening over Zoom. And the rest of the team is listening over Zoom and turning their boxes, to black and boxing out their names. And we're listening. And some of these interviews are being done in person if the child is too young, or the abuse occurred in a place where they would have to be interviewed, or their internet doesn't work in a way that we can do it totally forensically. That child is coming into our offices and the rest of the team is zooming in. So we are continuing to investigate and to prosecute child abuse crimes in our county. We've done over 150 teleforensic interviews or partial in-person interviews, and we continue to fight the fight against child abuse in Suffolk County. Thank you.
Excellent, Audrey. And she's being a little coy. What we're really proud of is, I believe we were the first in the Commonwealth to start doing these. So Audrey and Susan and the CAC, which you're going to hear from Susan in a moment, rather than sitting still and waiting for somebody to tell us how to react to something, when they saw a problem, they responded immediately and said, how can we service this vulnerable population, that are preyed upon many times by the very people that are there to supposedly help and care for them. So thank you for that, Audrey.